Hello, welcome back to iTech Solutions Interactive TILOS Learning Program. In today's session, we are going to see about how to add new activities, activity groups, and how to save them as templates. So, on the left hand side of the screen, once you collapse in the TILOS Explorer, you can see that there are three options. Among these options, we have to come to the option called as library. So if you select on library, you can see that there are options for activity library, resources, graphic and other libraries. So since we are saying about activity, let us go into activity libraries. Under activity libraries, you can see that there are activity templates and activity groups. First, we'll go into activity templates. We'll see later on how activity groups can be made and added. So under activity templates, you can see that TILOS provides a general library of various activities with its own templates available. In that you can see general. If you open general, you can see a lot of activities like morphology diagrams, milestone start, milestone end, other task parallelogram time, etc. Apart from this, you have also for specific bridge works. So if it is a multi-segment bridge or if it is a one-segment bridge. Under the multi-segment bridge, you can see various items like piles, pile foundation, earthworks, etc. And one segment, it's foundation, deck, abutment. Also, there are other activities like canalization, pipe earthworks, power pipeline projects, roads and motorways, track building, etc. So when we see on this, you can notice that there are various types of activities under different types of projects like infrastructure works, linear, non-linear, etc. These are the default templates which are available with TILOS. First, let us see how to add those activity. If we want to add an activity into our time distance diagram, what we have to go to is the insert toolbar. In the insert toolbar, just below the arrow mark on the second one, you can see it's an insert activity. If you select the insert activity, on the top of the screen, you can see that you can select the activity template similar to the same drop-down options available. So I am going ahead with earthworks and I'm selecting clearing activity. If I select the clearing activity and I come back to the time distance diagram and I click and drag and drop it, like how we draw a line in a paint or any other document. So like this, an activity has been immediately added. But how to configure the details of the activities, how to change the parameters of the activities. You can again go and select on the activity, and on the top of the screen below the toolbar, you can see that there are various options available. So you can see the start date, the time or which the calendar you have defined, default calendar, the end date, the duration is automatically calculated, the start chainage, the end chainage, and the length is automatically calculated, and also the activity. This is a quick access toolbar for us to make any changes to the activity. You can also notice that if I select on one end of the activity at the bottom and I move, you can see the time is changing. So why the time is changing? Because I am moving it on the y-axis. So I'm just moving it on the y-axis and the time is changing. If I move it on the x-axis, you can also see on the top of the screen that along with the time, the distance also moves. So what happens is if I want to move the activity, I can move it anywhere, or I can also enter the activity. Let's say, for example, I want to select here and I want to select the 1st of May 20, or let's take the Monday, 2nd of May 2022, the activity started. And I want this activity to end, let's say, after 45 days. If I'm going to select 45 days and press enter, the activity will change. Not just this, apart from this, I can also move the chainage elements of it. So I want to start this activity from 0 and I want the activity to end at 2500 meters. You can see that the activity has been changed along with the details. Apart from this, you can select the activity, and at the bottom of the screen in the detail object toolbar, you can make all other changes like changing the name of the activity if you want to make changes to the activity ID, if you want to change the calendar. Here, for example, you can see the calendar is 5 days a week. If I select it as 6 days a week, the duration has reduced because we are working more number of time for the same activity. So I'm selecting back. You can see which sub project it is added. Also other items like categories, the display options. In display option, you can make any changes. So the activity is in green color, but you want the activity to be changed to red, you can change it quickly. Apart from that, you can also change the type of the line. So this kind of works are known as editing the activity templates. So there are multiple ways to do in TILOS. There is always minimum of 2 different methods to do the same activity in TILOS. So to edit the activity, you can change it here. But in case this is for the activity which you have completed. But if you want to make a new activity for yourself with a unique color and pattern, we have to create a template. How do we create a template? We will go to the activity templates here, and under activity template, let's say I want to make another clearing activity. All I will do is right click and copy. Again, right click and paste. You can see that a new activity has come. If you double click on that, each of the activity, you can also view what are the items available. Now I'm selecting on the new one created, and at the bottom of the screen in the detail object toolbar, I'm going to select this as trial clearing KL item. Next, again, I'll move to the details and I'll change this name. If it is comfortable, you can always copy paste the same details. So under this, you have to change it. Again, if I want to make this by default a 6 days calendar week, I've selected. Then I'm coming back to the display and I want this activity in pink color with a different set of line. You can select whichever line or whichever it is suitable for you, and you can change. And I've changed this as well. So after making these changes, we go back to the views and go to the integrated view. If you double click on the time distance, you will come back. Now I want to insert the same activity. On the top, you can see by default already trial clearing iTech is selected, and I'm adding the activity here. So you can see that the new activity with different set of lines and also with a different calendar is automatically selected. So this is how we make an activity into a template. What is the use of making an activity into a template? Is by making a common set of activities for your project or for your organization. You don't have to every time create it, or you're making a unique experience. So what happens is, once you fix it as this pink color line in this shape means clearing, you're going to do this, incorporate the same in your project, and over a period of time, after a couple of reviews, all the stakeholders or all the engineers, foremen, managers, any other reviewing personnel will be used to the fact that this activity is called as a clearing activity in this color, and they don't need any other annotation. Automatically they will see, and it will be unique for that project or for that organization. This is the advantage of it. Now, since we have two activities, how do we link the activities like a conventional planning tool? So you can select any one activity, and you can see there is a small yellow color tab with a red arrow available. So you can click on that activity, drag it, and you will see an anchor button when you touch the other activity, and you can drop it, which means that these two activities have been linked. I select on this red color line, and you can see that this is the linking. So the predecessor and the successor is defined, and you can also see the link type is available. So you can add any form of link type, start to start. You can see that immediately the relationship changes. So finish to start. If you want to add any lag, let's say I want to add 10 days of lag, you can add 10 days of lag. Also, the another unique feature is that you can add a distance lag in TILOS. If I select on calculate lag by go distance to predecessor, you can see that there is a distance lag and at the same time time lag. So you can select such options as well. So I'm going to say working time of predecessor, and if I go ahead and if I'm going to schedule the same activity on 1/4, you can see that the two activities along with the lag is automatically populated and calculated. So this is how we add a new activity and also make it into a template. Apart from this, you can also notice one thing, that the activity list, the Gantt chart, and the time integrated time distance diagram and the integrated view are all linked to each other. How are they linked? We have added two activities. Now if I go to the task list, you can see that the two activities are already auto populated here. So the advantage of being is that if I'm going to make any changes here, will be available. If I want to add any activity here, I can add an activity from this also. Or if you go back to the Gantt chart, you can see that the Gantt chart is also available for these two activities with the link and the lag also available across. So this is the manner in which we add activities inside a time distance diagram and also make it into a template. So now I'm selecting all activities and I'm clicking. Now, what are activity groups? Activity groups are nothing but predefined set of activities which can be used as a template for us to quickly do. So you can see that by default, TILOS already gives us 3 different types of activity groups. So I'm selecting canalization. You can see in canalization, there is a trench opening activity. There is a link or a link activity for the below, and at the bottom of the screen, and the bottom is another pipeline activity. What happens is that we can group in 3 to 4 activities which we will be continuously using it across the duration of the project, and it can be done it in a faster manner. Next is a piling activity. So we saw canalization is a linear activity which is a distance. Next we are seeing a piling activity. So piling activity happens at location, specific location. So you can see that the first activity is a foundation. It is linked to the next activity, which is the piling, and the piling activity is again further linked to the girders. So similarly, there are other for shafts as well. This is also a non-linear activity. How do we use this linear activities? We come back to the time distance diagram, and below the insert activity button, there is another item called as insert activity group. Select on that and go to the screen and just click and drag drop. A dialog box will appear. In that you can select which activity group you want to select. For now, canalization I'm selecting, and what is the method you want to go. So you have various methods. So sector profile, distance profile, fixed length, by coordinates, etc. So let us go for now coordinates or fixed length. In fixed length, you can see that the starting of the activity is at 350 and the length is 1000 meters. So it's by fixed length, every 1 kilometers it will do. Or if I select by coordinates, you can see that the coordinates are available. So I want this canalization activity to start and end. So let's do the same option what we had done. So I'm going to put it as 0 and I'm going to put it as 2500, and we can also select when we want the activity to start. So I'm going to select again on the 2nd of May 2022 this activity has to start, and I'm pressing OK. You can immediately see that this activity has been populated, and even if you schedule it, the first activity is starting and there's a start to start relationship for the next activity, and the pipeline activity is immediately added. If I want to add the same set of things for a non-linear activity, I will select the piles option. Then if this is by coordinates, so I will put it as start of the activity or the end of the activity, or we can also put it by fixed length. So I want this activity at, let's say, 3 kilometers, and I want this activity to start on the 24th, or let's take the 1st of July 2022. Then press OK. You can see that the activity or the activity group is populated. After this, we can also select the first activity and link it to the next activity, and we schedule it. All the other items will be auto-populated. So this is the manner in which we use activity groups to add either a linear or a non-linear activity to the same. If you want to make a template of the activity groups, similar way in which we saw earlier, you can right-click, copy, and paste it here. So copy, you can paste it, and then you can go ahead and change the color of the activity, or you want to add further activities to it. Any item you want to do, you can make changes and make it into a activity template. So that is for today's session. Thank you. Have a great day.